The river's gift continued. Days turned into weeks, and Juma found himself drawn to Nyota in ways he couldn't explain. Though he couldn't remember their past, there was an unshakable bond between them, as if their souls recognized each other even if his mind did not. Nyota, for her part, played her role carefully. She never spoke of the river or the sacrifice Juma had made. Instead, she focused on building a new life with him, one memory at a time. The villagers of Mto Penda were curious about the mysterious woman who had appeared out of nowhere, but Nyota's gentle demeanor and quiet strength quickly won them over. She helped the women with their chores, taught the children songs, and even assisted Juma with his fishing. Her presence brought a sense of calm to the village, as though the river itself had blessed them. Yet, beneath her serene exterior, Nyota carried a heavy heart. She knew the truth, that Juma's sacrifice had come at a great cost, and that the river's balance could only be maintained for so long. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Juma and Nyota sat by the riverbank. The water was calm, its surface reflecting the fading light like a mirror. Juma turned to Nyota, a question burning in his eyes. Nyota, he began hesitantly, why do I feel like I've known you forever, even though I can't remember? Nyota's breath caught in her throat. She had known this moment would come, but she wasn't prepared for the ache it brought. Sometimes, she said carefully, the heart remembers what the mind forgets. Juma frowned, unsatisfied with her answer. But there's more to it, isn't there? I feel like there's something you're not telling me. Nyota looked away, her gaze fixed on the river. The river holds many secrets, Juma. Some are meant to be uncovered, and others are best left buried. Juma reached for her hand, his touch gentle but insistent. I don't want secrets between us. Whatever it is, I can handle it. Nyota's eyes filled with tears, and she squeezed his hand tightly. You don't understand, Juma. The truth could destroy everything we've built. Juma shook his head. Nothing could destroy what we have. Not even the river. Nyota wanted to believe him, but she knew better. The river was a force of nature, ancient and unyielding. It had given her to Juma, but it could just as easily take her away. And if Juma remembered the sacrifice he had made, the pain might be too much for him to bear. As the weeks passed, Juma began to have strange dreams. Visions of a woman with eyes like the river, of a storm that threatened to swallow everything, and of a choice he had made but couldn't remember. The dreams left him restless and unsettled, and he found himself spending more time by the river, as if it held the answers he sought. One night, as he stood by the water's edge, he heard a voice, a soft, melodic whisper that seemed to come from the depths of the river itself. Juma, it called. Remember. Juma's heart raced as he stared into the dark water. Who's there? He asked, his voice trembling. The voice grew louder, more insistent. Remember what you gave. Remember what you lost. Suddenly, images flooded his mind, a storm, a sacrifice, a woman with tears in her eyes. He saw himself standing by the river, offering something precious, something he couldn't name. And then, like a dam breaking, the memories came rushing back. He remembered Nyota. He remembered the storm. He remembered the sacrifice. Tears streamed down his face as he turned and ran back to the hut, his heart pounding in his chest. Nyota was sitting by the fire, her face pale and her eyes filled with dread. She knew the moment she saw him that he remembered. Juma, she whispered, her voice breaking. Juma fell to his knees in front of her, his hands trembling as he reached for hers. Nyota, he said, his voice choked with emotion. I remember. I remember everything. Nyota's tears fell freely now, and she pulled him into her arms. I'm so sorry, she said. I never wanted you to remember. I never wanted you to feel this pain. Juma held her tightly, his mind reeling with the weight of what he had done. I gave up my memories of you, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. But why? Why would I do that? Nyota pulled back slightly, her hands cupping his face. Because you loved me, she said. And you thought it was the only way to keep me with you. Juma shook his head, his heart breaking. But I lost you anyway. I lost the most important part of us. Nyota's eyes filled with sorrow. No, Juma. You didn't lose me. I'm still here. But the river, it's not done with us. It will demand more. Juma's grip on her tightened. I won't let it take you. Not again. Nyota smiled sadly. You don't have a choice, Juma. The river is a part of me, just as I am a part of it. And it will always call me back. The next morning, the river was calm, its surface smooth and unbroken. But Juma could feel the tension in the air, as though a storm were brewing just beneath the surface. He and Nyota stood by the water's edge, their hands clasped tightly. What do we do? Juma asked, his voice filled with desperation. Nyota looked at him, her eyes filled with love and resolve. We face it together, she said. Whatever happens, we face it together. Juma nodded, his heart swelling with determination. Together. As they stood there, the river began to churn, its waters rising and swirling as though alive. A voice echoed from the depths, deep and resonant. The balance must be restored. Nyota stepped forward, her head held high. I am ready, she said. Take me. Juma's heart shattered. No, he cried, pulling her back. I won't let you go. Nyota turned to him, her eyes filled with tears. You have to, Juma. This is the only way. Juma shook his head, his grip on her tightening. There has to be another way. I can't lose you again. Nyota smiled softly, her hand brushing his cheek. You won't lose me, Juma. I'll always be with you, in your heart and in the river. Before Juma could protest further, Nyota stepped into the water, her body dissolving into the current as though she were made of mist. Juma fell to his knees, his cries echoing across the riverbank. Years passed, and Juma never forgot Nyota. He spent his days by the river, fishing and remembering the woman who had changed his life. Though the pain of her loss never fully faded, he found solace in the knowledge that she was a part of the river, a part of him. And on quiet nights, when the moon hung low and the river shimmered like liquid silver, he could almost hear her voice, whispering to him from the depths.
I am here, Juma. Always.
The end. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more African folktale stories.